Thanks to a kind org member, this loner Idris is now fully kitted out with point defense cannons and, more excitingly, a railgun that allows for some interesting opportunities to snipe out some NPC targets with a large size 10 cannon. I'm Forrester, and this gameplay video shows a short session of experimenting with doing precisely that, blasting away some smaller ships and turning a profit doing so. And this is intended to be a gameplay video rather than a guide or review, so you're invited to sit back and enjoy as we get started. As with many gameplay videos on this channel, we start by spawning in the ship from the hangar. This can take a little bit of time, so as with some of the other more arduous elements of gameplay, I've sped up the footage slightly, which is shown on the bottom left. I haven't cut anything out, but it does just speed along some of the things that are a little bit more, let's say, tedious, like spawning in the ship and quantum hops. Heading aboard, we'll head up and just close the doors on the way up. I do usually keep a ship or two in the hangar in case of need, and in this case that was the Gladius, but we won't be using that for this playthrough. No, we'll be using the railgun on the nose instead. And so I'm going through the contracts and selecting an appropriate contract. This 200k combat gauntlet is probably for me the best for this scenario, because simply it is a hammerhead corvette which can be fairly easily taken out by the large railgun. After a little bit of steady lift out from the hangar, going to head up into atmosphere with the Idris taking the best possible speed I can, bearing in mind that it's not the fastest of ships. I do have to accept that in this case, this is probably not how the Idris is designed to be used. In many videos I talk about how these large capital ships are supposed to be multi-crew ships for multiplayer gameplay, and I'm just doing this as a solo pilot. So I have no qualms about the fact that in the long run this is probably not how it's going to work, but for now this is sort of workable in game, especially against NPC targets where I can just keep the nose forward and let the point defense cannons do their thing. And there's a nice little view of that railgun on the front, and as you can see it also has the very fun shark tooth skin as a Gladius spawns below, which for me is so appropriate for this kind of little sniping combat contract. So in the long run, I personally do hope that these large ships are only effectively able to be used by a crew. So I'm kind of in that camp where I'd like multi-crew gameplay to be more meaningful, and I love taking this thing out with a crew. But for now, because this is possible, and I don't know how long we will be able to do this for, it's also a fun little thing to do from time to time. And there we have the hostile ships have spawned in, so I've located the hammerhead and fire the main cannon at it. It is perhaps not the most accurate, but it kind of works. The reload is quite long though, at 10 seconds, so it's one that requires a little bit of a careful aim. And there we have a hit. Just enjoying some of the external views of the ship as the point defense cannons do their thing. And then bring the nose forward for the next volley, and that's a very nice angle on the hammerhead. Shame it was reloading. There we go, it's doing it again. And there's a hammerhead down. So that's 200,000 credits in the bank. It was very easy. I appreciate it did require an Idris class frigate with a size 10 railgun on the nose in order to complete that, but that was pretty straightforward. So as that combat gauntlet scenario hasn't refreshed yet, I'm going to look down the list and pick something else. There are some high-risk targets. The boarding in progress, but I'd have to leave the ship for that. So I think what I'll do is probably just head back to orbit, direct orbit of Microtech, and see if that combat gauntlet number 7 refreshes. If not, I can always take a high-risk contract instead. And there, that beautiful little marble is the planet Microtech. So we'll take a high-risk target. Might as well have a little fly down to Microtech, deal with that, snipe out something maybe slightly different sized. And a nice view of planet Microtech there, with the sunny side and the dark side. I love seeing that kind of gradient view. So, hopped in the quantum drive, about 40 kilometers above the location, with the art of a little bit of time lapse. You can see the target has now spawned in, and that looks like, I'm trying to tell, is it an Asgard? Might be a Valkyrie. I find it very difficult to tell on just those little holograms, especially if the angle isn't great. But it is one of an Asgard or a Valkyrie, I guess. Does look quite stubby. It's taking the shields down, whatever it is. I'm going to try and get within range, and there, that technically seems to be within range, but it was maximum range, so that shot missed, unfortunately. 10-second reload, we'll try again. Another shot in. That one did just clip it, I think. Or whether it hit the ground behind it, and don't know. We've got a slightly red thruster, so it did clip it a little bit. And then just get the reload for the last 10 seconds before firing another shell in. Now that did get it. Target destroyed. So rather than flying down to the surface with a ship that really doesn't handle well in atmosphere, just going to try and head back into orbit and see if those other contracts have refreshed or not.
Just got a confirmation that bounty's been cleared. We'll get you paid.
So there is another high-risk target there. May as well take that. Not sure why the very high risk or ERTs aren't showing. Maybe they've just been picked up quickly around here. Find out. But we'll head to this next location and go and try and snipe out another target. And that's a nice view of Microtech with the ice mountains, snow down below, and then old Shark-Tooth Idris with the railgun floating on by. It does look good. I do like this skin as well. And there it is, that size 10 railgun. Fantastic. So there is a small cost to firing the ammunition on this thing, but it's very modest compared to the sums made, especially for that combat gauntlet contract that rewards 200k. Won't be anywhere near that kind of level of cost. This one looks like a 400i on the hologram, so not quite so combat oriented a target, shall we say. And flying in from a good 11 kilometers out. It looks like it's taking its shields down. We're going into nav mode or similar. And in theory I'm in range, so we'll pop a shell. And there you go. Target destroyed. Mission complete. As simple and straightforward as that. Didn't even need to get in range to engage with the PDCs. And at 7.5 kilometers of altitude, not going to take me too long to be able to leave the atmosphere again. Again, no larger targets showing in there. But we have got scenario 7. There is a larger scenario, scenario 8, which involves taking out a Polaris. That's something that I would probably rather bring a crew for, even with the railgun on this thing. It would take a while to take down a Polaris, especially if there wasn't something else to keep its shields down, so I think the Corvette, the Hammerhead, is probably the sweet spot. Short quantum hop, and then wait for the target. There we are, Idris on the prowl.
Contact, radio.
And then there, see the ships have spawned in. Got one hit there on the Hammerhead. It took us some heavy damage for that hit, which I'm happy with. I'm not sure, it might just be obstructed now by this asteroid. Yes, it is. Worth a shot to find out though. And the point defense cannons are taking out those escorts. Small fighters, don't really need to worry about those in this ship for now. Don't even need the turrets for those, the point defense cannons have got it all in hand. And there the Hammerhead's out. Point on target. And there we are, smash. Hammerhead's out. As simple and easy as that.
I'm definitely seeing it on my side. I recommend a bit of downtime and then we can get back at it. Rest up and I'll see you soon.
Scenario 7 completed. That's another 200,000 credits in the bank. Not bad going. You also get those scripts, which are useful if you're trading them in, I suppose. I seem to have a near infinite supply of them in my hangar already, but So with that, that's been a short session. Overall, across the whole gameplay session, from leaving the hangar to heading back in, it's going to be less than half an hour to head out and blast some targets, and clearly a lot of that time has been travel time heading back down to Microtech. I was just waiting for those Combat Gauntlet 7 contracts. It could have been a little bit more efficient in, I guess, UEC per hour, but that's been pretty good. Between those two 200k contracts plus those HRTs, it's been about 500,000 credits for completing contracts there, and the costs are minimal, so it's not been a bad little session for putting some extra in the bank and having a little bit of fun with the railgun on this Idris as we head into New Babbage and land to complete the mission. So I hope you don't judge my landings too much. I find the Idris is a very hard ship to land because the bridge is up high but also quite far back from the nose. So I'm always trying to figure out if I'm far enough along in the hangar, if I'm not too far in the hangar. It's a very difficult ship to land. Much easier, I think, to do the docking to the stations. But there we are. I think that just about covers it. Into the hangar, and the doors are closing. So a very cheap restock there and refuel for a total profit of the session of just shy of 500,000 Alpha UC, which I'm very, very happy with for a short one like this. If you enjoyed this video, you might press the like button to let me know I should make more gameplay videos like this, and if you're not yet subscribed, given that you got this far, you might like to do that too, so that YouTube will know to show you more videos like this in future. But otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.